Welcome back, everybody.
Boom.
First Money Mondays after Christmas.
Oh my
before
gosh.
New Year.
Oh my
Guess
gosh.
what? Guess who's still here doing the show?
This is the weird week, everybody, where nobody really knows what day of the week it is. Most people aren't working except for
We know what
everybody-
day of the week is. Why, Ben? What are we doing this week?
Because we're closing 3 deals.
We have 3 closings this week, so all systems,
One buy,
one hit.
2 sales before the end of the year.
2
We're
of
gonna
these were
crush
supposed
it.
to be last week. We did not intentionally.
No, we did not.
Line
Yeah,
up
but
for
nobody
3
wanted
days.
to work before Christmas. Who knew, right? And I'm hoping that they want to work before New Year's. But we know at least one of them is closing, maybe 2.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
we'll see about the third. We'll see about the third. But what are we talking about today? Because it's right before the end of the year.
Talking about how to set your strategy for 2022.
Oh
What to think
my
about.
gosh. Strategic investment goals for 2022. You know, I think we're gonna take it from a high level, right? How to set good goals. Then maybe go through some of our goals, you know, just to give some people some perspective on what we're trying to do. But I always encourage people at this time of the year, right? If you're not jotting your goals down and sticking them up on something that you're going to see every day and that's going to motivate you, you're not doing the right things, right? You need to be able to determine what your goals are and then track towards them throughout the year, right? And you'll be surprised, everybody. I mean, people put these big, hairy goals out and they're like, oh, there's no way it's going to happen. And guess what? You actually end up getting pretty close. Sometimes you end up completely just destroying the goal in a good way. So we're going to hop right into this, right? So we're big on SMART goals, right? And everybody's probably heard this. Tony Robbins talks about it. It's about, you know, essentially, you know, determining a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-based goal, right? And we're going to go through each one of these. So don't feel like you got to jot everything down really, really quickly, right? But the first and foremost is be specific, right? If you just say, I'm going to buy 50 million in real estate. Really? Okay, well, that's, you know, I mean, where at? Right? You know, what is that this year? Is that throughout your
real estate?
Yeah, or even worse, I'm going to buy
some
real estate. And we'll have people say that. What's your goal? I want to get into some real estate.
I'm gonna get into apartments. That's a
Yeah,
goal.
oh, yeah,
What's
okay.
my goal at 22? I'm gonna get into apartments. Be more specific.
Yeah, like, do you want to be an LP?
Where,
do you want to be a
what
GP?
size? You can be. Yeah. What is the role you're gonna do? You know, are you gonna add value in which ways?
Yeah.
You can do your own deal. You're gonna partner with somebody. Is it gonna be, you know, 10 unit, 100 unit, 1,000 unit? I mean,
Yes.
what are you gonna do?
So be super specific, right? And you know, in our example here is I want to buy a small multifamily property between 20 and 30 units in 2022. And I'd even take it one step further. I want to buy a small multifamily property between 20 and 30 units here in Houston in 2022, right? You know, put where you want to be as well, right? So measurable, you know, set metrics so you know how when you achieved your goal, right? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it could be this just, you know, blob of a thing, and there's not really any way to even measure it. So you need to have something that's specific, right? Like, and maybe don't even give yourself ranges, right? Maybe you just say, hey, 100. So that 100 is the actual goal, right? And each quarter, right, you're going to maybe try to do 25 a quarter, right? So you're actually able to track that and measure that throughout the course of the year, right? So you want your goal to be measurable, achievable, right? If I say, oh, our goal this year is to buy 100 billion in real estate, right? You know, I know that there's some people in the market that would think that they can do that, but we're not BlackRock. So we're going to make something that's definitely achievable or attainable, as I've seen that, you know, that play on words there is synonymous. But, you know, you need to make sure that your goal is attainable, right? Because if not, right, then you're just setting yourself up for failure, right? You're going to get to the end of the year and you're like, man, I didn't even buy $10 million worth of real estate, let alone 100 billion. And you're just going to continue to just get yourself demotivated. So put something in there that's maybe a little bit of a stretch goal, but it's attainable, right? With the right plan, the right team, right? And we talk about that all the time. Relevant, right? Is the goal relevant to what wants to be accomplished, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, right, relevancy is pretty important, right? You could say, you know, maybe you're in real estate, but your goal is, you know, to, you know, go get a 6-pack, right? That's not relevant to going and buying, you know, 100 million in real estate. 6-packs, I don't know if that's going to be relevant either, dude. But, you know, you kind of get my point, folks, right? It needs to be relevant to the overall meta goal that you're trying to accomplish. Time-based, assign a time frame to each of the goals, right? So you can track progress like we talked about, right? Be very specific to what that is, right? If that's going to be for 2022, some people want to have a decade goal. Some people want to have a 3-year goal, a 5-year goal, whatever it might be. put that number down, put that date down, put that time frame down. And again, I'm a big proponent of writing things down and putting them up in places where you can actually see them, right? Publish them, put them out into the ecosystem, right? And say, hey, my goal, folks, on some Facebook, post is to buy $100 million. Now it's out there. You've put your goal out into the world, and now people can keep you accountable, and you can keep yourself accountable because you're constantly looking at it, right? I like to put stuff up on the wall and on whiteboards and stuff like that too. I think that's important, and you need to constantly be looking at it, right? If it's not up on your wall, at least be looking at it weekly to make sure that you're trending towards the overall goal, right? In real estate, it's so super important. There's a lot of moving pieces. You can get caught up in a lot of minutia. You can go down a rabbit hole here and there if you're not trending towards what your ultimate goal is. And I think most people can probably say it's financial freedom, right? To retire or be able to retire if you ever wanted to, right? Maybe your goal is hey, I want to have $500,000 a year in passive income, right? And okay, how are you going to get to that, right? Because that might take you 20 years to do. Right, but you should have a goal a year to get to that 500K, right? So those are setting smart goals. That's important, right? So what are some of Disrupt Equity's 2022 goals?
We have a lot of goals.
We have a lot of goals. So we do.
We kind of spent a lot of time. For those that know us, we were in Vegas a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Spent a lot of time fleshing out what we're doing in 2022. And so,
that's true.
The big meta goal for us, really the first and foremost, right? We buy apartments. And how much in apartments we're going to buy next year, Ben?
$300 million.
So that's kind of our goal. And, it's a goal that's been ramped up over the years. We think we have a clear strategy to get there. We've identified the markets, right? We were smart with our goal.
Yep.
Specific. We know where, we know the how, and really starting, and we know the time frame.
Yes.
And so we know to get there, we have to really amp up our acquisition pipeline. We have to look at more deals.
Yep.
So we've been spending a lot of time in the past 2 months getting that ready for January, February. Mm-hmm. And so that's the deal side, right? And from that, there's a bunch of other goals that we have. One of which, right, is launching our charity. We have Disrupt Gives.
Yep.
We're excited about that and really getting that into full blast and full steam ahead for next year.
And I'd say, another goal too, right, is, we're going to do one development deal next year, right? And so people are going to go, okay, well, that's not very specific. Well, it's going to be here in Texas, right? I think we have some of those metrics around, how big is it going to be? 1 to 300 units, right? So, we know where it's going to be, we know how big it's going to be, and we have the goal that, hey, by this time next year, you guys are going to be hearing from us, and we're going to go through, did we accomplish these goals? And it doesn't mean that you did a bad thing if you didn't accomplish all of them, right? That's the whole point. You got to make a stretch goal, right? 300 million, to some people might say, hey, it's a stretch, but we did 200 million this year. Mm-hmm. So I think it's certainly possible, especially with the amount of deal flow. So you also need to you need to take a step back and say, okay, my meta goal is this, but how do I enable that? How do I make that happen, right? And I think we have deconstructed our whole entire pipeline and really just revamped the whole entire thing.
You have to work.
And you have to understand, you have to understand how to get to 300 million. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to go out and do it, and it's just, at the end of the day, you have to understand the whole process that's going to get you to that end goal. Right, and so those are some of the ones that we've done, right? That we have, and I think another one
we
to
had
be
a whole
more
list, and maybe one thing kind of to add what Ben said. He talked about writing them up, right? And if you have a company, a team, share it with your people.
Yes.
Right. We had our holiday party last weekend. We put them up on the screen. Everybody in the company knows our goals as a company.
Yeah.
Everybody's working toward those goals. If they're doing anything that does not help towards one of those goals, they might not be doing the right things.
Yes.
Right. And so it's kind of again get everyone bought into the vision and the strategy of what you're doing, but make sure you have a strategy to actually get there.
I like it. And I would say, the other thing about the charity too, it's not just launching Disrupt Gives, which we've already kind of semi-done, it's actually giving back $250K, right? So that's a very specific thing that we're going to be doing this next year. So I want everybody that's listening to this, hold us accountable. We're going to be doing this same show this time next year, and we'll be going through what were our goals for 2022, and did we get close, right? So how do we identify these goals? I think some of these are passion projects like Disrupt Gives, which is our charity that we wanted to get off the ground and actually, keep our, the pressure on to get that launched and get the money back to people that are in need. Right. But I think also ultimately we understood how many acquisitions did we need to do in order to continue to sustain the growth that Disrupt Equity has. Right. So I think that's how we have identified some of the goals that we wanted to do. And then there's also side projects, things that we wanted to get into, like development, that we said, hey, we need to put a goal in. We need to put this down on paper And that's one of the reasons why we identified that as something that really, since both me and Ferris got into real estate, we've been really wanting to do development. And I'm not saying that's the end all be all. I think it'll just be another silo of a business that Disrupt Equity does. But it was important for us to get it down on paper so we can go out and achieve that.
Have someone that owns it, right?
That's important too, right?
Again, clear ownership, right? We have a lot of goals throughout the company, and making sure someone that is essentially butt on the line to help get it done.
Yep.
Right? We give Ben the easy ones so he can kind of make sure he gets his checked off, right?
Oh.
We give other people the harder ones, right?
Show up to work.
Ben's goal is to comb his hair every day before work. And hasn't missed a day.
I haven't missed a day, man. So, how has COVID changed our investment goals? I think at the end of the day, I think we're and we've talked about this on the show this year, right? Our investment, we still like multifamily. That's always going to be the case, right? I think it's just changed some of the asset classes that we're kind of getting into, right? Instead of kind of chasing that C value add, we're chasing more that B and A value add product, right? Because we just felt like that's more sustainable for where we're trying to go. And ultimately, that might have been the reason why I lost all my hair. I don't know. Those deals can be wildly profitable, as we've shown in the past. We've done several case studies on some of the deals that we've been able to flip out of, but there's a lot of challenges, there's a lot of headaches, there's a lot of stress involved in those, and ultimately the cap rates being essentially all the same, right? Mm-hmm. From our perspective, the amount of risk-adjusted returns that you're going to get from doing an A- value add versus a C- value add is just, they're night and day. Right, and if cap rates are all about the same, then in our book, let's just raise a little bit more money and go chase a bigger, better deal at a better part of town, right? So that's kind of how COVID has changed us. Doesn't mean that you can't make money in C- value add stuff. That's not what I'm saying. People are doing it all the time. I'm just saying those are fewer and far between, and there's a ton of people chasing those things right now because they're trying to get the juice the returns, and I'm just not sure if they're really quite there yet. Right, and you're still dealing with eviction moratoriums and delinquency and some of the other stuff that goes into that. So that's how COVID has changed our investment goals. But we want to hear from you. What are your goals for 2022? Go ahead and give us a share, give us a comment, give us a like. We want this show to be interactive, and we're going to continue to double down on being consistent with the show, and we'd love to hear from you guys too, right?
Yeah, if you have questions, ideas, thoughts, right, let us know. If you have thoughts for next topics, let us know. Right,
we would
one of
love
our goals
to hear.
this year, not really a goal, but it's always a goal, is to continue to figure out ways to add value to people. Mm-hmm. So if you have ideas, thoughts, comments, go ahead and leave them. Otherwise, we're going to keep going, and you're going to miss out on
Oh my gosh!
Great opportunity to ask us a bunch of lovely questions.
Yeah, and Q&A, right? Check it out. We'd love to hear from you guys. But if we don't have any, I think this is pretty straightforward for most people. Yeah. If you haven't heard from about SMART goals, go look that up. There's a ton of information on there, and I really encourage people to do that, right? But coming up, oh my gosh, is that next week?
Multifamily market trends and predictions. Our big meetup. We are going to have multiple brokers there. Come learn the ins and outs of Houston.
Everybody likes those. You guys should come out and check that out. Great venue, Pitch 25, right down by Minute Maid Park. Multifamily market trends and predictions for 2022. So you don't have to hear from us. You're going to hear from the experts. Right? How many? We got, what, 2 or 3 brokers coming out? 2 or 3
brokers will be out there. So we have already Jamie Harrington locked in, Thomas Hellman locked in.
All right.
So it should be a fun time. We're going to hang out and, again, learn from the experts on what's going on in Houston. So
come ask your questions, talk with the brokers. These guys are doing big deals, folks, and people are sometimes skittish about approaching, new brokers. And what do I say? Well, these guys are going to be out there mingling with us. So go out there, ask your questions and maybe get to meet some of these folks that are doing some of these bigger deals here in Houston, right? But that's going to be January 6th, 2022. I can't believe it. 7 p.m. there at Pitch 25. Check it out, disruptequity.com/HTX Meetup. And you can register there.
Yeah, it's true. Let's see, so we did get a comment. What's y'all's goals for 2022 from Ronnie Phillips?
Ronnie!
So we ran through some of them earlier on this thing, but the big ones, right? Buy $300 million of real estate. Yep. We're going to launch Disrupt Gives.
And distribute $250K. Yep.
On top of that, we had some other ones as well, right? Like, a certain number
of
takeovers, doing a new development.
Yep.
We had a certain number of takeovers to complete on the management side.
Yep.
Continue to grow that business. And, a whole slew of other ones. But the really big ones are those 4.
Yeah. No, we're excited about it. what are your goals? We want to hear about it, right? Ronnie, I know you think big, man. What are your goals, buddy? Love to hear from you. So moving along here, what else are we talking about? Oh my gosh, we wouldn't be a Money Mondays without talking about the MFIN conference that's coming up in February, and I can't believe that it's almost here. So we're gonna check it out. Holiday BOGO, buy one, get $150 off. Oh my gosh. I don't think we're making any money. Shanna, why do you keep giving these things away? You're killing me. You're killing me. But no, we're going to stick to it. Check it out, www.mfinvestornetwork.com. Put in coupon code HOLIDAY for that BOGO coupon code. Offer ends January 1st. So we got a time box on this thing. So if you want to go into the new year, there's several events in Q1, but we're going to guarantee you're going to have a great time at ours. We've got Tom Realwright, Gary Sutton, who else?
People.
Robert Helms.
Ferris Musa. I mean,
it's about that guy. Yeah. But no, it's all about networking, folks. We're not there to sell you anything. We've told you that plenty of times. People always have a good time when they come out, right? We curate networking. We make sure that's an important part of the event, right? So February 12th here in Houston, Texas. Check it out, www.mfinvestornetwork.com. Before
we continue, we got one more comment. Steve definitely asked, what was the link mentioned for January 6th? DisruptEquity.com/HTX Meetup.
Boom.
So check it out. We look forward to seeing you there. It should be awesome. It should be, like I said, get to ask brokers real questions. So
yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
So what's going on next week, Ben?
Oh my gosh, real estate markets to invest in 2022. Are we giving away all of our secrets? Apparently we are.
Always.
No, but we're going to talk about some markets that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't, right? And why we love them. So I think stay tuned for that. And any other questions?
That's
going
it.
Once?
Quiet.
Going...
Wait, one question came in from Doug Warner. Are deals going to continue to be difficult to find in 2022?
Yes.
They absolutely
will.
are. It's going to continue to be a hot market.
I don't see that slowing down for at least the next 12 months. Yeah. You got to get in, and it's all about deal flow, folks, right? We know that in order for us to buy $300 million, that we got to look at a ton of deals. So we're really increasing the flow.
We're tripling our acquisition pipeline.
Yeah.
Having people that are local, hiring on people local to those markets.
Yes.
And, really scaling out those broker relationships.
So, Doug, just to answer your question, yes, it will be, but there's still deals out there. You just have to increase the amount of deals that you're seeing. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. So I just encourage you, keep your head down, underwrite, make offers, do property tours, and you will find something because there are still deals out there.
All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and call it a wrap.
All right. We will see you next week.
Every Monday, 3:30.